You attack another country and kill innocent people in your defense? Are you freaking crazy?
Scott Kelly, a former NASA astronaut and retired U.S. Navy captain, best known for spending 520 days in space, 340 of which he lived on an International Space Station in the longest one-time mission. Now, Scott is raising funds for 1,000 generators and life-saving ambulance vehicles for hospitals in war-torn Ukraine.
Ukraine was never going to invade Russia. Ukraine's going to invade Russia and go all the way to the Vladivostok? I mean, come on. It's just absolutely absurd. I have Ukrainian family members. My brother-in-law is Ukrainian American. He moved from Kharkiv when he was 10 years old to Houston. So his kids, my niece and nephew, are Ukrainian Americans. I have Ukrainian friends. My Russian language teacher at NASA is Ukrainian from Kharkiv. The fact that Russia would attack a free nation and try to impose his will upon them, I think is a threat to democracy around the world. And to me, democracy is the most important thing. I mean, I would never want to live in a country where you don't feel like you're free to determine your future. And that's what Putin was trying to do. You know, I'm a big believer in democracy and freedom. We lose that, and you lose everything else. Considering Putin's recent attacks on civilian infrastructure, I think the biggest need right now is power. They need generators, they need fuel to run the generators to get through the winter, or people will die, which is terrorism and genocide. This is a country that is intentionally killing children, intentionally. I visited Bucha and talked to people that were there when they, found these mass graves and signs of torture and murder. And to see those with my own eyes, the Russian army came into that town and intentionally tried to kill innocent people, murder them, rape them. I mean, when you go to Irpin, you see the fact that these are not. It's not a unintentional. It's not a mistake. It's not a bomb or a missile that went errantly off course. I mean, they're rolling tanks down the street and blasting people's apartment buildings. Information in this age has become, really a weapon of war. I read and watch Russian television to understand their perspective. And the Russian pundits, talking heads, propagandists, cheer on these genocidal attacks on Ukrainians, basically encouraging the murder of Ukrainian citizens, including children, non-combatants. And I would like to see some of those folks also be tried for war crimes, for promoting war crimes. Soloviev, Zarakova, others that are on Russian television every day, I want them someday to pay for their crimes. The other thing, I've learned about, Russia is that, people don't really accept responsibility. We'd have debriefs of our training in Russia. It wasn't, what did we learn from this? By any mistakes we made, which is what training is about. At NASA, we train so we learn something, so we make the mistakes in the training so we won't make them in space. But in that Russian system, it was, it wasn't my fault. It was that guy over there. He did it. And you kind of see that with their military now, which doesn't bode well for a fighting force. And that's why I think one of the reasons that they're performing very, very poorly. I believe in leadership by example. And so I took it upon myself to try to raise awareness and later money to support Ukraine. And then Recently, President Zelensky's team asked me to be a U24 ambassador to try to even do more. So I had the opportunity to come here, and I thought that by me coming here and seeing things for myself and meeting people, talking to them in person, I could better relate that to the people back in the United States and other folks around the world. And I think it's the responsibility of people that believe in freedom and democracy to support you as much as we can. I visited the Children's Hospital Akhmatdyt, which is the largest children's hospital in Ukraine, which is in Kyiv, obviously, and to just see the hard work and spirit of the doctors and nurses and administrative personnel there. They actually live there. A lot of them live there now in the hospital and have been working basically, 24/7 for months. When you walk around here, despite the hardship and the challenge, you just see really the spirit and resilience of Ukrainians, and it's absolutely inspiring to me. So it's for you to decide. It's for Ukrainians to decide what their future looks like and what the end of this will be. And I absolutely believe that Ukraine will win this war. There is no other alternative for them because they believe, like I do, that democracy and freedom is the most important thing that we have.